This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. We must learn from COVID, says Dr. Ennis. Director of Family Health Services in the Ministry of Health and Wellness, Dr. Melody Ennis, is emphasizing the importance of learning from the COVID-19 pandemic. Speaking at the recent virtual staging of the Jamaica Association of Public Health Inspectors' 75th Annual Educational Conference, Ennis said more advocates are needed to ensure that if another pandemic arises, it can be better managed. This is not the end of a pandemic. Another one may come because of how we treat with the environment. If we institute early warning systems, the next round we will certainly be better prepared, Ennis said. While describing the work of public health inspectors as integral in the well-being of the entire nation, Ennis highlighted that the virus has put stress and scrutiny on the health system, but with efforts it can become more resilient. She also pointed out that people who live in areas where excess pollution exists are more vulnerable to respiratory illnesses. Our restrictions have helped and the world is breathing better, but when the restrictions are over, air travel is going to resume, production levels in factories are going to go up, and behavioral changes are needed to adhere to new norms, she stated. Ennis added that after COVID, we have to be promoting cleaner heating and cooking systems. It is now time for leaders and the public health inspectors to take this charge on board. Brownburke triumphs in spirit of camaraderie. Newly elected chairman of the 83-year-old People's National Party, Dr. Angela Brownburke, is insisting that yesterday's chairmanship election was a show of comradeship. Dr. Brownburke, the first woman to chair the party, amassed 147 votes to 121 received by Horace Daly, a former deputy chairman in the election, which had a turnout of around 85% of the members of the National Executive Council, the party's highest decision-making body outside of annual conference. Today, for me, is a really humbling moment because I look at where this campaign started, where the comrades really asked me to offer myself as chairman for the PNP. We went on an island-wide tour meeting National Executive Council members, talking with them, hearing their concerns, and sharing some ideas I had about the party, she told the journalists at the Kendall Camp and Conference Center near the south-central Jamaica town. Senator Floyd Morris has been appointed as the new deputy chairman, while 11 members were elected the party's executive. Dr. Brownburke said the internal election showed that the PNP is working towards unity, making sure that we are not just talking about unity, but we are doing unity. We are doing it because we are socializing together, we are talking to one another, we are discussing issues and representing the interest of the Jamaican people as one single party, she said. People were concerned about what this would mean for matching up the party and for disunity, and we thought that we had an opportunity to show Jamaicans and to prove to ourselves that as a democratic party we could have an internal election that is just under 300 people going to vote, and we can do it without tearing down one another, she added. The St. Andrews South-Western Member of Parliament's victory comes almost a year after she lost a previous bid to Philip Paulwell to chair the party. Daly became acting chairman after Paulwell resigned from the post in July. Dr. Brownburke said yesterday's symbolic gesture of exchanging campaign hats was a show of comradeship. I really lift my hat to everyone. I really lift my hat to everybody who was here today with a spirit of camaraderie. We started the morning, Comrade Daly and I exchanging hats as a sign that we were still one, she said. We know that leaving here, there is a lot of work still to be done because we have been talking about that. Once upon a time, we used to talk about PAR, participation, accountability, and responsibility as governance principles. We have to go back to that, she added. Daly thanked members of the party for their calmness and camaraderie. This went down very well for our party. Dr. Brownburke is the winner, but the party won today. You saw the friendship between both the camps. We were right here together, he said. It is a close race. Let me say to all comrades, this internal election is now over and it is now to focus on the work of the PNP to bring back the unity in the party. That was my only objective in offering myself, to try to reach out to bridge the gap and to see if we can get our party on a united path, he added. Groups are shocked that farmers commit third most crimes. At least 3 farmers' groups are stunned by police statistics that listed farming as the occupation with the third most charges for serious crimes over the last 5 years, behind the unemployed people and the laborers. The news obtained data from the Jamaica Constabulary Force, which reflect that 660 farmers were charged across 3 crime areas from 2016 to October 2021. According to the data, 159 farmers were charged with murder, 117 with shooting, and 384 for breaching the Firearms Act during the period. And 132 of the charges were levied in 2016, 138 in 2017, 134 in 2018, 134 in 2019, 64 in 2020, and 58 in 2021 thus far. Angela Bordewell, past the president and secretary of the Jamaica Pig Farmers Association, was alarmed by the numbers. That licked me for 6. I find that strange. It would not have even crossed my mind that farmers would be the third in line for committing crimes in Jamaica. Who do they refer to as farmers? Is it anybody that is unemployed or something? When crimes are being reported, I've really not heard of many people categorized as farmers committing crimes, she told the news in an interview. But if that is the case, she added, there is one particular factor that may be very well responsible: predial larceny. I would say the only reason as to why farmers would be caught up in crime is that they would be defending their crops or their animals. I have had farmers express an interest in applying for firearms to protect their property or livestock because of persons stealing their animals, and that they have had to almost sleep on their farms keeping watch, she said. So much so that the association would facilitate pig farmers in legally obtaining firearms. If the farmer has a large enough property, we would support them because we have had instances in the past where farmers have been killed on their farms. We have had a pig farmer who was killed in his pig pen a couple of years ago. So if the farmer has a good enough case and asks us for a letter of recommendation, we would support it, Bordewell said. Wordsworth Gordon, chairman of the Jeffreytown Farmers Association, told the news that it takes a lot of character to be an unarmed farmer. You have to be a strong person to not to want to have a gun as a farmer, because the thieves are coming to steal your things armed. These people have nothing to live for, and they are going to go through to steal, and anyone who comes to stop them, they are going to kill them. And that is a situation that a lot of farmers can't take anymore. These farmers will go to the point of even getting an illegal gun at some point, or get somebody to stop people from robbing them, he said. While he doesn't condone crime, Gordon said many farmers are left no choice but to take matters in their own hands. It's not the way, but when you call the police and report these things as a farmer, nothing happens. The police have in basket to carry water, especially the predial larceny police. It is ridiculous. They are not equipped to deal with the level of theft that's going on. It's a sad situation, and there's no plans, no ideas, nothing. Not even a hope that can be delivered by the leaders in this country, whether they are in power or out of power. Gordon himself pondered getting a firearm some years ago. I've been to that point. Years ago, I was about to apply for a licensed gun, and afterwards I decided against it because I don't want to take lives, and I don't want to put my own in danger. So what I do, I cut down on what I farm. I'm 70 years old now, and so I don't need to live on farm. I plant what I want to eat because it doesn't make sense. You invest your money and you cannot make it back. You keep investing and you keep investing. They have a saying that the only true Christmas are farmers because they have so much faith in agriculture that they keep going and keep losing. Then they hope the next crop will give them something, and then somebody come and take it away from them, he said. He added, you invest your money, and then everything goes and you can't reap anything. You raise livestock and nothing. I have seen farmers die from a broken heart because every animal they have was stolen, and nothing come from it. The family suffers and everybody suffers. Dennis Budo, a member of the board of directors of the Jamaica Agriculture Society, told the news that before accepting that almost 700 farmers were charged for serious crimes in 5 years, he needed clarification from the police. It sounds strange. Who do they classify as a farmer in that category? How do they classify farmers? Is it a man with a little backyard garden or a kitchen garden at the back of his house planting some little stuff, or the man who with X amount of acres and you could refer to him as a commercial farmer or a domestic farmer? They would need to clarify that aspect of it, since according to them, they have gathered data, he suggested. Maybe a man never plant a banana sucker from him born, but because he lives on a plantation, you hear that he's a farmer, but him don't even own a banana root. Buddha added, or is it that the man is just not a farmer, but because he doesn't have a special occupation, you just classify him as a farmer, which is the easiest thing to do, which would be unfair to the profession or farmers or a farmer. You cannot just broad brush everybody. A lot of times we hear that farmers are being killed on their own farms and that kind of thing. People would go there to steal their livestock and they end up being the victim. 107 new COVID cases in Jamaica, 7 more deaths. The Ministry of Health and Wellness reported 107 new COVID-19 cases and 7 more deaths on Saturday, October 30, bringing the local infection total to 89,014 and the virus death toll to 2,236. The new cases comprise 60 females and 47 males, with ages ranging from 85 days to 90 years. The cases were recorded as follows: St. Catherine 25, Kingston and St. Andrew 19, St. Mary 17, Manchester 14, St. Thomas 7, St. Elizabeth 6, Trelawney 5, St. James and Portland 4 each, Clarendon 3, St. Anne 2 and Hanover 1. The deceased are as follows: an 83-year-old male from Westmoreland, a 63-year-old male from St. Elizabeth, a 72-year-old male from St. Elizabeth, a 71-year-old female from St. Elizabeth, a 37-year-old male from St. Catherine, a 72-year-old male from St. Catherine, and an 84-year-old male from Kingston and St. Andrew. The deaths occurred between September 22 and October 29, 2021. In the meantime, 172 more people recovered in the last 24 hours, bringing total recoveries to 57,904. Currently, 256 people are hospitalized, 24 of which are severely ill, while 14 are critically ill and 60 are moderately ill. According to the Health Ministry, there are 28,251 confirmed active COVID-19 cases on the island. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.